In the previous episode, we finished off the last of the Vlandians and set our sights on the north in the land of Sturgia. Battania rose up from the ashes to take back Utherlame Castle, but Appius once again stepped up with 1,400 troops to take it back. Before we move on, we should make sure this castle falls. You never know what the AI will get up to when you leave them be. Swing and a miss. Okay, Battania, stay down this time, please. Wow, look at all these nobles. Off to prison they go. We head northeast, a short trip up from Majadan Castle. There are over 400 troops lurking nearby, but run off. They barely have 100 troops to defend this castle, and it falls without issue. Luckily, they had a few nobles, so we removed them from the rest of the war as well. Looks like the Empire is staging a comeback, but it's short-lived. An easy victory, and we continue back to the north to engage Sturgia. The prudent choice would be to conquer the isolated fiefs to the north, since they will have to take Varcheg first to get them back. Revel has a decent defense with 650 troops and ballista. The town fell much easier than expected though. We can quickly clean up Ustakol Castle in the back and continue pushing into the main body of Sturgia. I stand corrected. They raise an army and walked right past Varcheg. Interesting choice on their part, and it cost them dearly. I always enjoy facing off against Sturgia since they love the slow shield wall push, giving plenty of opportunity to pick them off and to flank. Well, well, well. Sturgia and Battania are teaming up against us. That's cute. While we're here, might as well throw these horse archers in jail. And these force people too. It helps to do a quick sweep of the land just to make sure nobody is taking fiefs in our backfield. There are a couple sieges going on, but nothing is taken just yet, so we continue forward. Next, we take out Amor and Ov Castle. This will eliminate Sturgia from this side of the river, giving an easy choke point to defend. We start the siege with one less siege tower since they have Onager. If they knock out both engines, we can still use siege ladders to assault, and they can't destroy them. I really like the layout of this castle as it's easy to hit shots from nearly anywhere on the wall. It seems like half or more of the sieges get stuck now. We take the town and a prisoner, then move on north to Ov, but intercept this small army on the way. Holy crap, Vlandia has 1,000 troops? Durthert must be selling his body to afford this expedition. An easy win and the Noose Titans with fewer nobles in the field for Sturgia. Okay, I gotta know. What is Vlandia doing? They have about 3,400 troops with no fiefs. Are they all resorting to sins of the flesh to finance their army? Everyone else has 300 to 500 troops to their kingdom, so maybe they still have money in the bank to burn through before they go broke. As we were sieging down Ov, the inevitable happened. Vlandia declared war. We rushed back to Amor to prevent the siege. We may not be able to win a field battle against Vlandia right now with fewer troops, so we employ the famous tactics used against Napoleon: strategic retreat and avoid fighting. At some point, they will either run low on food or our reinforcements will show up. The Aserai want to pay us a small sum for peace, which will help avoid some raiding in the meantime. We have enough troops to engage them now, but it looks like the rest of the Vlandian armies are causing issues in their previous homelands. Appius looks to be in control near Ov, so we retreat back to Utherlame Castle to relieve the siege. They have close to 500 troops and are badly outnumbered here. No amount of high ground will save them from this kind of aggression and slaughter. We deal with their range units and send the cavalry to the flank. We lose only 20 troops, save the castle, and take a noble into custody. They won't be able to recover from this easily since they have no more fiefs to recruit from. Veriksend is still under siege, but it would be too far of a trip to be worth our time, so we head back to Ov to finish off what we started. They have only 2 ballista built when we finish the siege camp, so we assault immediately. We will take less casualties with no siege engines and only 2 enemy ballista. Not much interesting happened here, but I did want to show that it's possible to scale ladders that are covered by enemies. Keep a high guard and don't stop moving until you're clear of the big crowd. We lose 57 troops and take Ov. These Sturgians aren't the sharpest tools in the shed. Luckily, this one is a clan leader and is willing to negotiate. We pass the chat check and pay the extraordinary sum of 1 dinar to recruit them into our kingdom. No offense, but even 1 dinar might be asking too much based on the recent performances. They show up on the vote, so we can award them with a fief at least. Well, that's annoying. Vlandia took a castle back there anyways. We will retake it at the very end. Takar Castle is next, and given the success of the previous siege, we forgo siege engines to avoid destroyed ballista. One of my favorite parts of the game is getting behind enemy lines in a siege and causing mayhem. It usually results in going down, but can really cause significant loss and disruption for the enemy. We get close to 20% of the total kills and lose only 45 troops. Takor Castle should provide a distraction for enemy Stygian armies coming this way, allowing us to besiege down Bannerlord in the meantime. Looks like we got 800 troops worth of reinforcements to help out. Bannerlord is well defended due to several noble parties in the town. This won't be an easy battle, so we make a full line of trebuchet to help soften the defense. The onagers are easily cleared and we can now take the town. We spend a few minutes clearing defenders from the walls while the siege engines move into position. The gates are breached and we head inside to clear some defenders. One thing about fighting against Stygia is that melee combat at the gates is a brutal war of attrition. Their shields are very strong and taking them out is tough. They also have javelins in the rear to cover anyone trying to flank. Progress is slow and their reinforcements are coming faster than ours, forcing us to fall back to the gates. They chase us through the gates and overextend, which is a huge mistake that seals their fate. It's a bitter back and forth struggle inside the gatehouse, but they are quickly running low on troops, and it's only a matter of time before we take the town. We take a two-handed axe to the arm and go down. Amazingly, we lose only 160 troops, and more prisoners for our dungeon. It looks like Stygia is retreating back to the east. Our newly hired Stygian clan shows up on the vote for Bannerlord. Nice. Nuh-uh, I don't think so. Another easy battle and several more nobles out of the war. On the way to Varnovopol, we come across another Stygian army, this time 550 troops strong. We lose a few more troops this time around, but we should still have enough to take the town afterwards. We herd the enemy nobles back into the city and begin the siege. Losses continue to be minimal, and they lose more fiefs and nobles by the day. Sibir is to the north and is next on the list, and with only 500 troops to defend, it quickly falls into our possession. With only 3 fiefs left further east, this war should be over very soon. However, facing the Khazaits last will be no easy task. Why are they so slow? Perhaps they can't afford horses? Vladiv Castle has only 350 defenders and poses no real obstacle for our troops. Surprisingly, they put up more of a fight than double their numbers from the previous siege. Urikskala Castle is the last castle and second to last fief to take. Again, it's lightly defended and falls. We only lost 17 troops this time. Now there are tiny parties everywhere. If only we had our attack dog with us. We forced several of their nobles back into their final fief. Time for another famous last stand, except nothing really interesting happened and we barely lose 100 troops. We can hold their nobles for a while to avoid being raided until they capitulate. Oddly enough, we have more than half of their nobles in custody and they want out of the war. There will be no outro for the Sturgians as they didn't put up enough of a fight to deserve one. Another Empire mini army, trying to pick off some scraps so they don't starve. Too bad. Welcome to jail. This is exactly what I like to see when I go to war with the Khazaits. Overwhelming and insurmountable forces to stomp the horse lovers into the ground. Dinar Castle is just to the north and has under 300 defenders. I'm starting to get a feeling that the Khazaits will actually be an easy war. They have similar numbers of defenders but offer very little resistance. Just to the east is Baltican with 600 defenders. The Khazait are weak in sieges without their horses, and we take the town with little issue or loss. We have quite a few allies in the area, which should allow us to focus on pushing south without having to stop for defense. We spot our first large field battle against the Khazait. It's a wide open tundra, perfect terrain for their horse archers. However, we have even more archers of our own and a large cavalry detachment ready to charge if need be. We position our archers on the left, which is generally where horse archers will approach from. Our boys pour a constant stream of arrows into their foolish charge, completely destroying their horse archer formation. Our archers get charged by the enemy cavalry but with little effect, so we order them into a square. The enemy infantry approach slowly, allowing our archers to scramble back up the hill. Rip Fian Champion. With the main force routed, we need only to deal with the staggered reinforcements. 117 losses and over 800 kills. I guess we were worried for nothing. Wow, the Aserai have migrated this far to the north. I guess the AI can map hack to see which fief has a weak garrison. They shouldn't be bothering us anytime soon. Man, these guys are fast. Luckily they are also greedy and get stuck trying to take down a caravan. We siege down Tepes and lose some recordings. You didn't miss much though. We took Tepes and Kimli Castle. Time to put the real hurt on them and take Ortengard. Never mind, we should probably defend these sieges first. Wow, she didn't even flinch when 1,000 troops came rolling in. Either she's really brave or really dumb. On the way to Kaiser Castle, our dear friend Ragnvad declares war. I think the peace was a ruse to get us to release their nobles. Pretty smart play because it worked. We get to the castle just in time to stop their assault. I know everyone wants to see it, so let's at least watch the horse archers get destroyed. We set our archers on the left in loose formation and have the main cavalry force follow us. We sweep in from the right flank and surround them. They can stand and trade with our archers or get cut down by our cavalry. Either way, it's a total loss on their end. With only 22 losses, it's a decisive victory for Prussia. On the way back to Ortengard, we spot another Khazait army sieging down our castle. Okay, you know the drill by now. Let's get our cavalry on their rear flank and decimate them.
Move! Horsemen, move! Forward! Move! Forward! Move! Move! Horsemen! Advance!
Then they feed their cavalry into ours. Yummy. The rest of the battle plays itself out while we chase enemy cavalry with El Banco. We finally make it to Ortengard and hastily build a ram and assault in order to avoid them building more siege engines. The town falls easily. At this pace, we should have all of Khazait subjugated within a month or less. I really enjoy how nonchalant the enemy is with sieges. It's like they can only see 10 feet around them in any direction and plan no more than a couple seconds ahead of time. 20 losses for 400 kills and a few nobles. I'm certainly not going to complain with that trade though. Usek is just to the west of Ortengard and has 300 defenders, but succumbs to the Prussian pressure. Here's a fun trick. If the fief you're in has low garrison, other nobles in your army will deposit their troops to help out. If you go in and out of the fief several times, they will continue to put troops in. That should help deter these 60-unit mini armies from trying to siege our recent conquests. We need to backtrack slightly to Makeb. We certainly don't want them to have a launching pad to take more of our fiefs back in the north. We have enough troops to take the town, but opt to make Onager and remove their ballista first. Another troop stuck in the walls somewhere and our Onager are shooting at everything. Makeb falls and we have re-established a clean line of control. We will head south to Chaikand while our allies take out Hakun on the other side of the ridge. It's our boy Jassid again. There is Munchug himself. Get him. They have a lot of horses, so it's hard to catch up, but they have a greedy AI and decide it's a perfect time to raid our caravans. For some reason, their army of 450 don't reinforce. We're a bit too slow to catch them, so we dismiss one party to slow them down. Since we're close by, we will take Samira Castle. Again, it's lightly defended and falls easily. Let's take a quick look at how these defeated kingdoms are coming along. Vlandia has still close to 2,000 troops and one castle they took back from us. Most everyone has 300 to 500 troops, which probably isn't enough to win a siege unless it's a recent conquest. We will head south next to Odok and then loop back north to take the last handful of fiefs. They have a decent defense here, but it's not nearly enough. Akalat is next to the northwest. They have less than 300 troops defending for some reason, and it falls to an auto-resolve. Akisar Castle is just across the river, but again is lightly defended. Usually the last couple fiefs taken from a kingdom will have their numbers swell since they have nowhere else to go, but we aren't seeing that just yet. We take a few losses from the auto-resolve, but we have more men than time right now, so it's a fair trade. Akalat is under siege and certainly can't withstand 400 troops, so we rush to relieve them. A significant number of our troops are still injured from the recent battle, so we opt to delay the fight as long as we can. Sure enough, they stop at Akisar, which will be their last mistake. You don't look like the other Khazaits. Apparently, a lot of the Batanians have joined up with the Khazait. Alright, here we go. This is what we were expecting. They have more troops than we do now, but they don't have the Prussian Space Marines with 180% discipline like we do. We built trebuchet to help knock out some ballista, but they are building them so fast that we can't keep up. Incredible. At least we breached both walls, which should make life a bit easier. Here we go. Epic last stand. We anchor our shield wall in front of the breach on the left and bring the archers just behind them.
Forward!
The Khazait shields have an insane coverage area, so instead we opt to push the infantry forward. We send the first detachment of infantry in first, followed by the second group right behind them. Once the path is clear, we bring the archers in and set them up in the field to the rear. It's a slaughter. Their flanks fall and we push forwards to the main gate. They pour reinforcements in, but it's not enough to stop the push. Their reserves dwindle, and now we gobble up their right flank. Once again, a mighty kingdom has fallen to Frederick the Great. The Gazetes are no more, their lands have been confiscated, their women and children treated fairly, and the men thrown into prison while the war continues onward. All that's left is to take back the fief we lost to Valandia months ago. The Western Empire wants peace again. I guess they got tired of raiding our villages? To add insult to injury, we catch one of Valandia's nobles and recruit them into our kingdom at the last minute. They want 500,000, which we happily pay. Durthert gets caught outside the castle and taken prisoner. Now this is what being a Bannerlord actually looks like. We will have more than 5,000 troops to storm the castle with when they arrive. Well, almost 4,700 actually. I know this is the last battle of the campaign, but I really wanted to solo the main gate just to see how long it would take. I feel like I wore my mouse out clicking so many times in the process, but it did eventually fall. I learned that not only does your relative movement speed towards an opponent add damage, but also how fast you rotate your mouse. Speeding up your swing will also increase damage. Sometimes we learn important things by acting like an imbecile. The castle falls, and at a great cost. It's wonderful to see all the white and black flags of Prussia flying proudly above each fief. Take note of the date, 1100, which means it took us less than 16 years to conquer all of Calradia. Not bad. Up next, we're going to make a recap episode that tracks the full journey, highlighting the major events of the campaign as well as the path of our conquest fief by fief. If you're a fan of painting maps like I am, you won't want to miss this. We will also do a post-op review and go over a few things that went horribly wrong and how we can fix them for the next attempt to make it faster. I'm proud of everyone sticking with this one until the very end. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you on the next one.